However, we also see that Jamaican women are heavy cheaters. That's what the men are saying. They're now saying, listen, if you cheat on me, I'm gonna cheat on you. I still don't believe it's common among Jamaican women to cheat, right? They're not really interested in a serious relationship. They just want to nab them out. There are many other countries in the world that have professional scammers, people who have PhD in scamming, and that's not Jamaica. Hey guys, it's Yasmin Abdallah from the Jamaican Experience with Yaz, where I bring you a Jamaican experience that transcends sand, sea, and sensimilia. In this video, I'm going to be looking at some common views that people have about Jamaicans, and I'm going to be giving you my unique perspective on the matter. So stay tuned. This is going to get a little interesting, maybe even a little spicy. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is about all things Jamaican. So if you like the video, leave us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe for more great content like this. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Yazzle. So in this video, we're going to be looking at some common things that people say about Jamaicans. Not only views that are held by non-Jamaicans, but also some people who are from Jamaica as well. And, you know, these are things that we see online, common things that they propagate about Jamaica. Even people who have no idea about Jamaica have heard some of these things via social media and other online platforms. So let's jump right into it now. First thing I wanted to address, there's a common belief that many Jamaicans, or a significant number of Jamaicans, are uncomfortable living in Jamaica and life is so hard for us here, and all of us want to migrate to some other country. Usually the belief is that we want to migrate to North America or the UK. So much so that we are prepared to become illegal aliens in these people's countries. Now, I have to say, whilst many Jamaicans, primarily among certain socioeconomic groups, want to migrate for economic reasons because they feel that it is better in another country, primarily these countries I mentioned, North America and probably somewhere in Europe, usually the UK. So because they believe that there are better economic opportunities, they want to migrate, not because of anything else, I assure you, because life is quite nice in Jamaica, especially if you have money. That's all you need to have like a great life in Jamaica. Jamaica is perfect. If you can afford to live here. No, so my perspective on that, of course, is that that's not the case. And even more so now, we're exposed to the world. We're not disconnected from the rest of the world. We see what's going on in the rest of the world. And by seeing what's going on in the rest of the world, we know, many of us know that we have it nice in Jamaica. So even when we have little challenges here, we are still aware that we're doing better than many places in the world, even places that you would think would be better than here in Jamaica. Also, many Jamaicans have now had the experience of going to other countries, namely some of these countries in North America and Europe, and they've had the experience of living in these countries, and they now see the blessing that is what we have here in Jamaica. So yes, of course, if somebody is living, you know, if their life is hard and they really can't make it work here, they're still looking to migrate, but less and less people now are looking to become illegal aliens in other people's countries. Less and less people now are looking to even leave Jamaica and go to those other countries, you know, because we have opportunities here. So I disagree that a significant number of Jamaicans want to run up. Let's be clear, life is nice here in Jamaica. We enjoy a lot of freedoms here in Jamaica that's not in other places in the world. Point number two, next point, Jamaicans are scammers. Okay, this is just ridiculous. Yes, in recent times, and when I say recent times, perhaps the last, I don't know, maybe 15 years, scamming had become a big thing in Jamaica, or has become a big thing in Jamaica, where we have a small, very small group of people who have become good at scamming other people out of their money. People who somehow willingly take up their hard-earned money and send it to these people who tell them lies and all sorts of things, and they do it once and they do it twice and they do it 3 times and so on. But the issue about the scamming, yes, it's an issue in Jamaica. Yes, there are a small group of people who scam in Jamaica, but Jamaicans on a whole are not scammers. Jamaicans on a whole are hardworking people, all different income levels, who get up out of their bed every morning and they go to work and they grind all day to take care of themselves and their families. So no, most Jamaicans are not scammers. Furthermore, I should add that there are many other countries in the world that have professional scammers, people who have PhD in scamming, and that's not Jamaica. So no, Jamaicans are not scammers. There are a small group of people here who have become good at scamming people who willingly send them their hard-earned money, right? Thinking that they're going to get so much more. So that's what I have to say about the scamming. Don't associate Jamaica with scamming, because that's not fair, and you know, that's not a fair assessment of Jamaican people. Point number 3, I've seen this online many times. Jamaicans are aggressive. This is something I think I'd addressed this in my debunking myths about Jamaica video that I've done several weeks ago. Are Jamaicans aggressive? I would say that Jamaicans appear to be aggressive because our language, patois, which is our Jamaican Creole. Patois is not our official language, but we speak it here in Jamaica locally. Jamaicans, most of us, we understand patois. Patois is a very aggressive language by the way it sounds. So sometimes someone is not angry or upset, but it sounds as if they're angry or upset. Trust me, I know, because there are some things that we might say in Jamaican, and when it's said in English, it does not sound the same way. For example, somebody might say, move from yaso, right? If the person says that, they're really telling you to get away from here. But if the person says, get away from here, that sounds, I guess, less harsh versus move from yaso, okay? And that's just what I could think about. But there are so many other examples that when you compare the patois versus the English, it sounds much more aggressive, but it really means the same thing. Also, no, Jamaicans are not aggressive. We're just very assertive people. We're very strong-willed people, and it comes out, you know, when we speak. So I would say for people who think we're aggressive, it's just that they don't understand us, and that's pretty much it. No, we're not aggressive. We are assertive. Next point, number 4, and this one, I have to say, this one annoys me, though there is some truth to it. Jamaican men do not take care of their children. Okay, why this annoys me? There is some truth to it, I have to say. But there's a backstory. How did we get here? I know some people are so tired of hearing about slavery, but guess what? I'm sorry, it's a fact, it's a reality. It does shape some part of our lives, our future, our culture, because of our history. Now, because of our history, where on those slavery plantations, some men their sole purpose was just to get other women pregnant as much as they can, have those babies to continue having slaves on the plantation. That's the short story. As a result of that, these men don't have any responsibility because, right, they don't feel like they need to have responsibilities. Why? Because they move from this woman and that woman and that woman and that woman and that woman, because their sole purpose is to have babies, to procreate, right? That's their function. So of course that would have come down from generation to generation to generation to generation. Now let us quickly move to 2020. We're now in 2020. It is very different. I find that many Jamaican men take care of their children. Of course, there's still some men who still have that mentality because it takes a long time, centuries. It will take a long time for this to completely to be completely out of our culture and out of our behavior. But what I find, especially with younger men, and when I say younger men, I'm talking about 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even some 50s. You know, they no longer have that mentality. They take care of their children. In fact, they're having less children, which is also a big improvement. Of course, so more and more of these men are thinking, you know, if I can't afford to have these kids, I'm not going to be having these children. I only want one or two because that's what I think, you know, I can comfortably take care of one or two children. Their children, they're spending more time with their children. They care for their children more, you know. So that's not true. Jamaican men, you know, I wouldn't broad brush us. I wouldn't broad brush our men and say that Jamaican men don't take care of their children. So it's time that we stop it. Okay. So next point, number 5. Jamaicans are beggars, or Jamaicans like to beg. Okay, this is an interesting one because as a Jamaican, I believe this. Jamaicans, and this is of course not the majority, but it is something that is prevalent in our culture, and it's so prevalent that some Jamaicans don't even know they're doing it. Listen, there are places that I have had to not go, business places, because the staff beg me money. Every time I go in there, they want something from me. They want $500 or they want $1,000. If you're not from Jamaica, by the way, $500 Jamaican is only $5, maybe 4, right? At today's exchange rate. However, so Jamaicans beg a lot. I would definitely agree with this point. I can't say it's not true. It's common. It is, I wouldn't say it's the majority, only because I want to be nice. And I think it's only among certain groups of people. But believe me, it's so prevalent in the society. Listen, it's so prevalent that they don't know that they're doing it. I was in a store once and a guy came through the door, and one of the women that works in the store, she knows the guy, she's familiar with him, he shops there often, and the guy comes in and the first thing she said is, "You can't buy me lunch." And I was thinking, okay, if you said to her, "Why are you begging me?" she would not think that she's begging. She doesn't think that she's begging. You might say, "Listen, I just got $10,000. So beg you $1,000 now?" She wouldn't think that she's begging. It's so automatic. It's like matter of fact. Let me just ask you for something. So it is common. It is too common here. I have another story. I was in the supermarket once. The supermarket that I shop gives you points every time you shop and you swipe the card. Okay, so I was cashing out one time. I was redeeming my points. I think it was the end of the year, because I think you have until the end of the year to redeem your points. So I was using up my points. I had a lot of points. This lady is gonna be like, "Miss, you can't buy me something off of this." So she was asking if I can't buy her something from my points. So my thing was, I paused for a minute and I look at her like, "Excuse me?" I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Miss, you can't buy me something off of this." You know, she sees me often, so she feels comfortable enough to ask. So I said, "No, of course not. It's just inappropriate." So they will ask complete strangers. They will ask people that they're familiar with. If they think you have something to give, they will ask. So I have to agree with this point. Jamaicans, not everybody, but it is too common here that Jamaicans like begging. For the business places that have people in your place that are beggars, please clean them up, get rid of them, because I can count a number of places now that I am scared. Well, primarily one major one here in Mobay. I'm scared to go there to buy things, even though I want to, because there are people there who are going to harass me every time about giving them something, some begging me money, as they would say in Jamaica, give them a thing, right? Now, this next one here that's coming up is a little funny. Number 6, if you will. Some foreigners who are dating Jamaicans say that Jamaicans like to... So I'm trying to find the right terminology, because here in Jamaica, we would say that, they say that Jamaican women like to nyam out man. By that we mean that they like to take and take and take and take and take, right? They're not really interested in a serious relationship. They just want to nyam them out. However, this is something that is commonly said about Jamaicans on a whole, men and women who are dating some foreigners. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is only when they're not really serious about the person abroad. There are some Jamaicans who will get in relationships with foreigners that they've probably met here on the beach, or they've probably met here in Jamaica, and they're not really interested in a serious relationship. They probably don't even like them that much, but they see opportunities. So the other person likes them, and that person might have money, and they see an opportunity, you know, in nyamming them out, or in English, taking advantage of them, right, financially. So I have to say that this does happen. It's by no means common in terms of a majority. I would not say that, because it only happens among certain groups of people, because on the flip side, Jamaicans are very proud people, right? They don't want you to, as they would say, take things, tell them. So we're an interesting set of people, really interesting. There's so many contradictions, you know, in our personality, in our culture. But do Jamaicans who date foreigners like to take advantage of them or nyam them out? I'm gonna say yes for some or for many, but I'm also gonna say this is the case primarily when they're not interested in that person. So they will take and take and take and take and take, and if you give and give and give and give, they're going to take more and more and more. So my advice for you, if you're dating one such Jamaican, male or female, it's probably the reason they're probably taking and taking and taking and asking is because you're giving, and they're probably not interested in anything much serious than that. I hope I didn't out anybody just now, but that's just my unique perspective on that. Okay, next point, and I see this a lot on Instagram. They say that Jamaican men are not romantic. No, obviously, again, these things are just general statements that people make, but they obviously cannot apply to all, because unless you've dated all men, you can't possibly know that. But I would say that this is something that is on both sides in our culture. So whilst I normally see it in relation to Jamaican men, I think they put a lot of pressure on the men, you know, to give women flowers and things. And of course, that is great, and they ought to do that. We ought to do that sometimes too, as women. But I do think that the romantic part might go both ways here in Jamaica, because I think, you know, in certain areas, you know, historically, I find that as a culture, as a people, within certain groups of our culture, we're not very expressive, you know, of our emotions. We're not emotionally expressive. In fact, sometimes we will make fun of people who pour too much, who tell too much, who share too much feelings. We take feelings lightly in this culture. It's a big thing, you know, here, how we respond to people who are more emotionally available, who are more comfortable talking about their feelings. So I think it goes both ways. I would agree that many Jamaican men are not romantic. Listen, you don't need to look further than our music, okay? If you just listen to a lot of our dancehall songs, I think you'd get a pretty good idea of how a lot of men in our culture are. And I also think that that's also the case for women, because if you even listen to some of the female artists and how they sing about themselves in relation to men and so on, I mean, I don't think they have much to say on the romantic side either, or even that they want it that way. So I think this is accurate about Jamaicans. However, like many things, I think that's changing, you know, with exposure to what's happening in the world, and women are becoming more comfortable. People are becoming more comfortable talking about their feelings. They're learning it's okay to talk about their feelings, to share their feelings. Women And we are raising our children differently now, you know, letting them know it's okay to be emotionally available, it's okay to share, it's okay to talk about how you're feeling. So I'm thinking that that is a changing thing now. So in another few years, in another maybe 10, 20 years, maybe this is a thing that we can no longer say about Jamaicans, and we'll certainly not see it about Jamaican men. Okay, next point, final point number 8, and here is the thing about this one. I left this one for last because I find this to be really interesting, and this is something that I see a lot online about Jamaican men and women. So once upon a time, you'd commonly hear that Jamaican men are cheaters, Jamaican men love to cheat. We still see that. We still see that a lot. However, we also see that Jamaican women are heavy cheaters. That's what the men are saying. So the women are saying that Jamaican men cheat a lot, and that's a fact. Listen, before I even go any further, I should say I don't think that's specific to Jamaican men. A lot of men all over the world are well known for cheating. I would say that more men cheat than women. I don't have the stats, but I would say that, comfortably say that. And if you don't think that's the case, go ahead, let me know in the comments, right? Okay, but as it relates to the women now, I'm astonished how often I see this online. So every time I see it, I have to read the comments. Honestly, if you ask me before reading so many of these things recently online, I would say hands down that Jamaican women don't cheat. But guess what? I saw a question posed on Instagram the other day. They were asking whether Jamaican women or Jamaican men cheat more. And one woman said that Jamaican women don't cheat. Jamaican women cheat back. And I thought about it. And I said, that's true. That makes a lot of sense, right? In Jamaica, we call it bun for bun. And I believe that. Once Jamaican women are no longer sitting at home saying, all right, you cheat, and they cry and they feel sad and all of that. They're now saying, listen, if you cheat on me, I'm gonna cheat on you. Okay? You're not even going to know to them cheat. They're just gonna keep going on, pushing on, but they know what is what. Okay? So is it common among Jamaicans to cheat? I still don't believe it's common among Jamaican women to cheat. I really don't. I believe some Jamaican women cheat back, but I don't believe by any means that it's a common thing, it's prevalent. I don't think so. I don't believe that. I don't see enough to believe that. And again, I think it's specific to certain groups of people, right? Because for most women, they'd probably just break off the relationship, and some of them would just stay, you know, like previous generation type women who just stay, and many, you know, more progressive women, that's how I feel about it, would just say, you know what, to hell with this, and then they would just leave the relationship. So I don't think it's that common among Jamaican women, but I certainly know for a fact that it is really common among Jamaican men. Now, I'd love to know from Jamaican men if they agree with me that it is common that Jamaican men cheat, and not as common that Jamaican women cheat. I'd love to know this in the comments below. Okay, so that's it. That's what I have for you today. There are just so many other points, so many other things. If you can think of any others that you would like me to add, probably I'll do a video too, give you my unique perspective on some of these things, these views held by people all over the world about Jamaicans, including other Jamaicans who have views about certain other groups of Jamaicans. So let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll do another video about that. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. I actually had a lot of fun filming this today on this rainy, cold day here in Jamaica. If you like the video and you want to see more great content like this, type yes in the comments below. Also, if you like the video, leave us a thumbs up, share, please share with your friends, leave a comment, and subscribe for more great content like this. We upload videos every week, so hit that notification bell right there and you'll never miss a video when we upload. Thank you for watching, and remember, Jamaica is not just a place, it's an experience.